Okay, so I think we are live here. All right. Right, wrong. Is that even the question here? I want to talk about it. I kind of woke up and heard about what happened at the Oscars, and I'm not one to report and just gossip and everything, but I heard everyone posing the question like, was he right or wrong? And I think questions are so important. And I think we're going to miss a valuable lesson if we can point, if we're trying to figure out, was things right or wrong, what happened, whose fault it was. And I think we missed the lesson in what happened. And if you don't know, basically, Chris Rock said something that was offensive to the partner of Will Smith, and he retaliated with a slap, with some words. And I think that it's just things like this happen a lot. And anyone who saw it felt the emotion. And I think that it offered a valuable lesson, not about who's right or wrong, not about who said this or why did he say this or is there history there. I think there's a lesson in just in the management of our emotions. But I want to hear what you all have to say. I don't want to just be the only one. I don't want to be just the only one talking. I want to hear what you all have to say, because I think all of us have been in situations where our emotions have got the best of us. And I think when we can understand that, and can you guys hear me in the live? If you guys hear live, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me okay? I think if we can catch the lesson here, that it will help all of us. It will help all of us. Like, what is the lesson? Like when we say something, we do something or we get someone says something to us and we react to it. What's the lesson that we saw there? And let me know if you guys can hear me in the live session. I'm using a mic. Let me see if this should be working. It should be working. What's going on, Dom? What's going on? And I basically, okay, perfect. You hear me? Amazing. And I guess the thing that I want to say is we're not above our emotions. None of us. That's why just about everyone watching could be like, oh my gosh, I felt that. Like I could see myself doing that. And then everyone goes to the question of like, was that right or wrong? But it's like when we act out of our emotions, I hope everyone saw this. I'm guilty of this as well. When we react out of our emotions or we speak out of our emotions, it's very short-term lived. Okay. And yes, I see you all's comments. And I'm sure they did talk, and I'm sure they're cool. I've seen stuff like this even in the pro athlete world. We're all cool after eat dinner. But for the public eye, it gives gossip. But I'm not here for the gossip. You guys know I'm not about that. What I'm here for is really the lesson. What does that show us about our emotions? Someone who I look at is very emotionally aware. Like to still react like that. You have to remember when someone says something to us, it's never about them. All of you here in the comment section, I can look at you guys. You guys can be like, Luke, we hate you. This is boring. This is dumb. That means nothing to me. This means nothing to me. All it does is show me. So I want you guys to remember this, because we live in a world right now where there's so, oh, and by the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to put the Zoom link for you guys. You guys someone wants something to say about this? I'm putting the link to Zoom real quick. On Zoom real quick. 1 second. I think a lot of times our emotions, as much as we want to control them, we want to manage our emotions, that we have to understand that they're always going to pop up. Our emotions are always going to pop up. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about the last time someone says something to you that really irritated you. And what was the first thought that you had when they said that? When someone said something to you, when they did something to you, when they took something from you, what was your first reaction? Because that's the emotional reaction. And I'm going to give you a tool real quick. I'm going to give you a tool right now in the first 3 minutes of this thing that you can use. I want you to just ask yourself, try this today as much as you can. Do it today. What are my options? Let me say that again. What are my options? It's been one of the greatest tools. I use it with my clients. I use it in my personal life a lot. I want you to ask, what are my options right now? Because when something happens to you, you're always going to be shown yourself. You're going to be shown yourself every time. I promise you. And some of us, hold on, you guys in the Zoom room, I'm going to get you guys in 1 second. And I put a Zoom link there for you guys. If someone has something to say about a little emotional and managing your emotions, controlling your emotions, I want to hear from you. I've heard one quote goes along the lines of, saying something when you're angry will be the greatest speech that you'll ever regret. It'll be the greatest speech you ever regret. And one of the things for me is I'm a nice guy. I see the positive. I love seeing that, but I see the real. And I really realize how my emotions can really blur things for me. It's blurred things for me in my friendships. It's blurred things for me in decisions I've had to make. It's blurred things in emotions for me. And it's blurred things in so many different aspects of my life for me personally. Now, of course, this isn't about me, but this is through my perspective. So one of the things I want you to ask yourself, what are my options? And I want you to, when things happen to you, like even today, if you're going, I know some of you out there, you've been thinking about something a lot lately. Maybe 40% of your thoughts, you've been thinking about one situation you have coming up. And just ask yourself, what are my options? I want you just to think about that. What are my options? Because asking that question, you start to think like, well, what are my options? Because as you start to think of your options and you say them out loud, there's certain things you're like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's not a good idea. Because when we react out of emotion, it's very short term. Think about people drunk. Think about people, because you can't really control things. You can't really manage them. But no one's above it. Not me, not you. But here's the hack that you guys get that some people don't, is we can learn from other people. You all watching this, you can learn from other people. You can see what happens when you don't manage your emotions. You can see what happens when you don't take a break, a moment first. Asking yourself, what are my options right now? If I make this choice, how is that going to affect tomorrow? And the more that people get closer to things that really matter to you, and the one thing you have to remember this, if you guys are in Skills Academy, then you know I talk about this, we'll always do more for other people than we'll do for ourselves. We'll always do more for other people than we will for ourselves. It's why you can achieve great things when you make it about something more than you. If I just did the vlog for me, or I just show up here live for me, it would be like, I don't feel like showing up today. Why would I do this? But when I can make it like this might help someone now, that gives you fuel. But that fuel, if not used the right way, it can also backfire and destroy a lot of lives and destroy a lot of people. Like I say, this is not about, was Will Smith right? Was it wrong? Like, I think when we get caught in the right and wrong, it really distracts us from the lesson that's there. Because everyone has a different perspective. We all know, man, that was wrong to do, but what's the lesson? What's the lesson? You all here in the live session, in the comments, or join me on Zoom. I'm gonna put the Zoom link down. What's the lesson? And you guys who were in the waiting room, I missed you, my bad. I have it minimized. What's the lesson? What's the lesson? Because when you can find the lesson, we can use it for later. Because I want you to understand, people just show you who you are. So many of you all watching this, I know so many of you all have to want to travel. Some of you guys want to run your business. You guys want to have great relationships, and people say something to you and it affects you so much. But understand, what people say to you just brings out what's already in you. What people say to you brings out what's already in you. So someone who's like, man, I just lost my head and I got angry. You got anger in you. You shouldn't have reacted that way for this. I personally saw this as a pro athlete so many times. I learned so many times. I watched so many of my friends get kicked out, sent home. How do you think that if I were to make that mistake, if I were to do that, I'm going to pay the price? What if I look at other people doing it? I saw people that I played with, I saw them flip out in the game and yell at our coach, cuss our coach out, kick chairs. And I also saw them get flown home the next day. I've seen a guy react in the game, punch another player, and I've seen them sent home the next day. I've seen a guy hit a referee, saw him hit the referee, gone, suspended for the league, never can go back and play in the league again. Can't get back into the country, actually, got banned for 7 years. So we can learn from these lessons. We can learn from that. So we don't have to make those mistakes. Does that make, I hope that is making sense to you guys, because we can talk about whose fault it was, who's right or wrong, which I don't even really think about that too much, who's right or wrong, because so many times it's very, us as humans, we think right or wrong is just like, what I say is right, what you say is wrong. But it's like, you need to travel a little more. You need to see that when you travel to one country, what's right there is wrong in another country. And I think that when you start to get caught in the right and wrong, you forget, like, here's something better. Here's something I give to my clients, and you guys can use this for free. You can look at what works and what doesn't work. Look at what works and what doesn't work for you. Don't look at things as what's right or what's wrong. Like, what if you look at things like that? You know, and I think so many times, for me personally, my emotions have fueled me to do amazing things, but I've always second guessed it, or I asked another question. Because remember, you guys got to remember, our questions is what really controls our emotions when someone does something. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example right now. This is something we talk about. And you guys are new around here. I have a free school you guys can take part of where we talk about this a lot, Your Skills Academy. And when you're ready, you can advance into my group coaching, which I think will be extremely beneficial. That's paid though. Start with the free one if you're doubting things. But here's a simple question. I'm going to ask you guys 2 questions, and I want you to see how you feel with each question I ask you. I want you all right here now to think about the year 2020. I want you to think about, what did you miss out on in 2020? What did you not get to do in 2020 that you really wanted to? What plans did it totally destroy for you in the year 2020? How many people around you suffered in the year 2020? Now, I guarantee you, everyone watching this live session right now in the replay, you're feeling a certain way because of the questions I just asked you. But I want you guys to take a breath. Okay, I'm asking another set of questions, okay? Now I want you to say, what was the greatest lesson you learned in 2020? What was the biggest lesson you learned in 2020? What are you most grateful for that 2020 showed you? What did you learn about yourself in 2020 that you never would have learned without it? Like those questions make you think differently. And I think that we have to think deeper. I can see some people, I haven't read all of the comments, but I see a lot of people like, well, he's wrong, he's right, he's wrong, but I think he's right. This is such small talk, who's right and wrong. Like, what's the lesson, guys? What's the lesson? Like, take it deeper than just what you could watch in a sitcom or people talking back and forth in a talk show. What's a deeper lesson that we can take into our own life? It's not about, well, this person did this, here's the details of what happened. I see you guys in the Zoom room, about to let you guys in, hold on. What's the deeper lesson here? Because if we can take the lessons, we can apply it to our lives. And I think this is one of the most important things. We need to be able to take lessons. This is something we need to be able to do, take lessons from something. Not about, let's argue about, well, who's right and who's wrong. We can argue both sides. That's what lawyers do. How can a lawyer argue both sides of it with evidence on both sides? And I think that once you're able to do that, that's when change happens. Hold on one second. We got someone in the Zoom room. Hold on. Let me see. I think you should be at what's up? What's up? Hold on. I'm trying to unmute you real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay. You should be able to unmute yourself right now. Can you hear me? You still, I think you still on mute. I can't hear you yet. I'm gonna just read through the comments while you figure that out. You might need to I'm trying to think. Maybe your microphone. There's a little microphone thing down at the bottom. But Chris, and I'm reading you guys' comments, but I'm trying to let you guys know that what's the lesson though? What's the lesson though? We got to go deeper than that. What's the lesson? Simon, you still on mute, brother. You still on mute. I'm trying to read through some of you guys' comments real quick. Lessons you learn. This is being community doesn't give privilege to trash someone else's family. There's a lot of lessons, but what's the deeper lesson? Like you guys we're going to lessons that are very, you're going to lessons that's very shallow. But what's the deeper lesson that you can use for you? This is the question. Can someone answer that in the chat? Hold on, see. The house doesn't, okay, 1 second, hold on. Oh, you should be able to unmute right now, my bad. Hold on, guys, we're having a little discussion in the Zoom room real quick. I think you're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What's up, brother? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. That shit was wild yesterday.
Yo, man, I know, bro. But where are you calling from, by the way?
Seattle.
Seattle, man. Great, man. Nice. Never been there, but I've heard great things about it.
I'm trying to head out to where you at, though.
Hey, I mean, you're more than welcome, bro. It's open and everything, man. So the question is, man, you saw what happened yesterday, right?
Of course.
What's the lesson that people can get from this? Like because everyone's debating the small stuff. Everyone's debating like, well, he did this and very, very like gossipy. But what's the deeper lesson that you see from your perspective? You look like a wise person.
I agree with what you're saying a lot, but I think there's a piece of it where I would also add that he is wrong because of, what could have been the end result. What's going to end up happening is this, they're probably friends and nothing's going to happen. But in real life, Chris Rock could have a weapon. Chris Rock could have friends. Chris Rock, Will Smith could get jumped. Will Smith would probably get charged with assault, especially if he didn't, if they weren't friends, if he decided to press charges. So you say something like, you said something like, it's really what works and what doesn't work. And I agree with that perspective. And that's the way to look at it. But I would still, for me, I would just say it's wrong because it doesn't work. And I just kind of define right and wrong as works and doesn't work. Yeah. So I agree with you on that. But I would also, I think a lot of people agree with what you're saying, but they're just using, some people don't understand the nuance. But I would say it's wrong because it doesn't work. And to me, the emotional, I don't know, I think not all of us, but I think a lot of us get the emotional, like we know we're not supposed to hit people when we're angry. That's like the child. Yeah. You learn that when hopefully when you're in kindergarten and hopefully it goes through your life. So when an adult sees a grown man, reacting like kind of to me like a child and just, hauling off and hitting somebody because of their emotions, to me, it's like, I mean, what are we doing here? This is a 50-year-old, man with like multiple kids.
Yeah.
It's entertaining, but it's nasty a little bit, especially with a guy like that who's so respected. And I know he had reasons.
Both of them respected. Yeah.
Went through a lot, but it's like, to me, it's I lost a little bit because, like you said, I think especially as black men, I think a lot of black people in the community react. They react more than they respond to situations. And I'm very similar to you in that I'm a wild guy, but I have in the past I've had a lot of friends that I go out just to have fun, but then I look over and like people are squaring up, trying to fight. And I'm like, what even happened? And they're like,
why are you guys here doing that? Yeah.
He bumped into me. He, just some dumb shit. And you're like, what's going on? So I try to educate people in the same way where I'm like, listen, let's all learn from this. Cause I know you think, to me, the education factor is with the people that react in the same way as Will, where they're like, if somebody talked about my girl, I'm hauling off. I'm hitting him too. If somebody talks about my mom, I'm hitting. And it's like, well, let's look at the situation. I mean, he's lucky. He's a celebrity and nothing would have happened to him in general. But
Yeah, but I have a question for you.
For sure.
So if for example, from the emotional standpoint of how we can be reactive, because I mean, we know what it's like to be someone say something, your first reaction is like, but then it's like, okay, chill out. In that moment, if you could have paused time, Will's going up there to react, and you have one sentence to tell him, what is it that you say? Because I think that will help a lot of other people who get in that emotional state. What's the thing you would say if you could pause time? You got one sentence to tell him. What are you saying?
Say something to him. I mean, I've gotten in front of friends a bunch. I would have probably grabbed him and then been like, I would say it's not worth it. I would just literally when I do, because I used to be a bouncer, and so I would grab people up, but the whole time I'm grabbing them up, I'm not just like standing there and like just grabbing up for no reason. The whole time I'm saying in their ear, dude, it's not worth it. There's police outside. You can get charged with something. Look, if sure they may have been racist, but if you punch them, you're gonna go to jail. And who's the winner? They got one more black man off the streets. What are we doing? We all lose if I'm just like, I'm out here just like saying that shit in their ear the whole, especially specifically black people. I'm just saying those words in their ear because like you hurt.
So what's the one sentence you're gonna say? You got one sentence to say. So let's take not even last night. Let's use someone here, like a lot of people in the comments. I know we can be emotional. What's the one sentence that you would say to someone who's about to react out of their emotions, regardless of the situation? And you've been a bouncer, so you know about de-escalating situations and all that. What's the one sentence you're saying that someone here really needs to hear? They're about to make an emotional decision.
I would say, think about the consequences. It's not worth it. I mean, you may think in the moment, hey, I'm gonna hurt this person for disrespecting me, but longer than the 5 seconds after you get what you want, you're gonna have to deal with a whole load of nonsense. And is jail for 10 years, 5 years, 30 days, is a fine, is like potential death on your part or their part. Is it worth it for disrespect? In some situation, I don't know. That's up. People make different judgments, but I think that's the thing I would say. Is it worth it? Or are you gonna put everything on for that? So
yeah, I love that, man. And then last question for you. I appreciate you jumping on here. What is your biggest takeaway from what you saw last night? The biggest lesson that you're like, I can take this and I've just learned something from this. What would it be?
The biggest thing is that we've never seen we've never seen a guy like that haul off and do something. Will Smith has been pretty, as far as I know, I just casual as a casual fan, we've not seen him react. We've not seen him in any public scandals other than the wife, situation, the entanglement. And so even a guy that's been pristine, crystal clear, like millionaire, successful kids, was a bad relationship, but now it's a good relationship. Even this guy who's, in his 50s or 60s, if he can get caught up in a moment and like throw it all out the window, I'm talking ish right now, but like, this guy has how much more multiples of money, how much more success, how much more fame, how much more clout, how much more everything, and how much more of a clean record. And still, in one moment, he's like, "No, I'm gonna throw it all away on a national stage because of disrespect, because of what I'm going through in the moment." So I think, regardless of all the stuff we're talking, I mean, I think the biggest thing is like your emotions can come out of anywhere, left, right, center, and you really gotta. There's not a ton you can do I think you can meditate and do a lot to prepare for it, and I think there's a lot of work you can do on the front end. But at the end of the day, some stuff is gonna come out of the blue. People are gonna die. Somebody's gonna say something that you never thought you would ever hear out of someone's mouth at the wrong time, and then that's the moment where you're gonna be tested. It's not, there's a lot of easy moments for me, but there's definitely gonna be more difficult ones. And Will faced one, and he made a decision. So I think that's probably the biggest takeaway, is that he's not known for that, and he ended up doing it. And he has 50 years of, he has 40 years or 30 years on me, and he's still out here, he did it. So I think that's probably the biggest thing. Like we're all, regardless of all that,
Susceptible.
we're human and susceptible to I'll say evil, but to our emotions getting taking control of our actions for a certain period of time. So you just got to be
I
vigilant.
love that.
And I don't know how to prepare for it other than like just meditation and getting your spirituality right, just getting
Yeah.
consistent basis. That's probably the biggest takeaway, is it can happen to anyone. It seems.
Yeah, especially after yesterday, as you said. Hey, you're saying your name's Simon, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Call him
Simon, man, I
Simon.
appreciate Simon, man. I love that, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming on here and just speaking that, man. I'm sure that's going to resonate with a lot of people watching and saying thank you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here
For
too.
sure. Hey, thank
for
you
your
for bringing me
support.
on. Thank you for bringing on. I love
you
the
got it.
content. Love the content, and you're
Appreciate
one of the your videos of like, dude, just like pick up the camera and start recording stuff, and then just seeing you just pick up the camera, and you didn't, some of the vlogs are edited, but most of it's just like you just picked up the camera and you're like, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm doing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, I make videos too. I do a lot of stuff, and it's like there's a perfectionist quality, and you're just like out here and you're successful doing it. It's like shit. Okay, I just need to start uploading. So
I appreciate it, man.
I know you hear that a lot, but you got
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hey, leave your YouTube link in the chat on YouTube, and people can come check you out. All right, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Peace, man.
Take care, brother. Yeah, and everyone watching, first of all, I just want to say it's so true. I'm looking through the comments. I missed a lot of comments. I see you, GP. What's going on, brother? How you doing? And yeah, I totally agree with you. And this is, me and my partner, we talked yesterday about this. If this happens, because we had a situation come up like this a while ago, and just talking about it, and they're like, what would you have done? And I was like, I would have walked up on stage and I would have been like, that's not cool. What makes you think you talk to my wife like that? Even if I yelled it out so everyone can hear, because I think we can feel when someone's doing the right thing, we can feel it. And it's an energy that goes around. When someone does the right thing, it's felt. It's felt. And I would have been like, apologize to her right now. And as I said that last night, I was like, that's what I would have done if I could have had a warning of what was going to happen. But I said, if not, I probably would have walked on stage and said, don't speak to her like that again. That's not okay. And I would have stopped the show and said that, and I would have walked back. Not put a hand on them, because I think when you do that, you cross a line. And I think that people look up to us, and you never know. Someone told me a long time ago when I was about 19 years old, trying to become a pro athlete, and I asked him, what's the best advice you could give me? He said, he's like, always do the best you can, because you never know who's watching. And that's a lesson that's been in my mind for so long, my entire life. You never know who's watching. You never know who's watching you, who's waiting to give you an opportunity. And you never know who's waiting for you to slip up so they can jump on you and take your spot. That's how my mind thought as a pro athlete. And I think having just a second to think about something, even as Simon was saying, and Simon, I thank you so much for coming on and saying all those things you said, having that time to realize what's happening, what's going on. Like, think about this for a second. Think about the consequences of this, because there's consequences of everything. Right now, I'm having water. There's a consequence to drinking this water, but the consequence is I'm dehydrated. I also have, yesterday was a cheat day for me and my peoples here, got a Coca-Cola. There's consequences for drinking this. I'm going to feel this today at the workout. I didn't drink all this, but I'm going to feel that. And I think when we can get to a point where, because as Simon said, we can't control, we don't know what's going to happen. But one thing we have to realize is anytime someone says something to you and your stomach sinks, or someone says something and you get heated and irritated, that's showing you yourself. When someone says something to you, it's showing yourself. It's showing you you. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It's showing you you. That's it. I'm going to give you a perfect example using myself as an example. If you guys look at me and say, Luke, we hate your red hair, we hate your afro, I'm like, that doesn't affect me. That doesn't mean nothing about me. I don't have hair. I don't have red hair. That doesn't mean nothing about me. Now, if you come up and say, we hate the color of your skin, we hate your eyes shape, now that says something. Now you're attacking something deep. Now I can start to react to it. And if you guys are just joining, the thing that I said in the beginning, if I can give you a tool today, is to ask yourself, what are my options? What are my options? I ask this, if you are in, like I say, if you guys are in Your Skills Academy, Charm here, if you've been a former client of mine or a client of mine, You already know. I'm always like, so what are your options now? And just repeating it to yourself. You ever say something out loud and you're like, now that I say it out loud, that is a crazy idea. You ever think about that? And that's so true. Like, what are my options right now? Like, I think about a lot of situations, and this is a little personal story, but I feel like we're kind of family here, so I can share it with you. I was out with my partner in a while ago. This is probably 2 weeks ago. This is probably the most mad I've ever been in a very, very, very long time. And we're out at a little hamburger stand in a small city here in Mexico. And as we're eating, this guy walks over to me. He's really drunk. And he walks over to me and my partner. She's sitting here. She's little. She's sitting on the stairs, and I'm sitting on the bench. Oh man, my light went out. And the guy comes up and he says, you're American. What are you doing here? And I was like, nothing, man. And he just starts coming and talking. And then he sees her, and we're both eating the burger. And he comes close to me, and I was like, man, please get away from me. And he tries to give me a fist bump. I fist bump him. I say, please get away from me. And he comes closer. And then I'm like, man, I'm going to have to protect myself and the people that I'm with. I'm with two people. And then he goes away. And as he walks away, he says something horrible in Spanish to the person that I'm with. And she speaks Spanish. And she just like is very calm. And I'm just like, did he just say that? And everyone's looking around at us. And my first reaction was like, just get up and push him and then walk away. And I sit there and I'm just like, wow, I'm ignoring. And as he walks away and sits down at the burger stand where we're eating, he says something else. And I get up, and everyone's starting to look around at me like, oh my gosh. And I just felt I know what he felt. I know what he felt. Because my first reaction was like, I'm going to show this guy, you don't talk to someone like this. Don't talk to my wife like this. This is how my brain is going. And my first thought was just like, what are my options? I thought that naturally. And when you can get used to asking yourself this question so many times, you become able to answer this question. My options were, I can hit this guy. I can throw my burger at him. And these are real thoughts in my head. I'm not filtering it out for you all here. I was like, I can spit in his face. And I saw he was with his wife, and he was with a girl as well. And my first thought was just like, actually, this is not a good idea. And I asked him a question. One of the biggest gifts, if you listen to today's podcast episode, one of the greatest gifts that I've learned, if you're a man watching this, I highly recommend the book, The Way of the Superior Man. As a matter of fact, if you can't afford this book, send me an email, Instagram or something. I'll send out one to the first person who asks me. The Way of the Superior Man. And one of the biggest things that I learned in that book that I read a month ago was being able to de-escalate situations. It's been one of the greatest gifts that I've used. Meaning when someone says something and someone does something horrible to you, de-escalating. It's been one of the greatest gifts that I never knew about. I kind of was always calm, but I never knew it was a skill. Now, de-escalation means when someone comes to you with a bunch of things to say, but you're able to take that situation and bring it down. Like de-escalating the situation. And one of the best things you can do is ask a question. You ask a question. So one of the things that I said when I thought this, and this is something I just practiced, just ask a question. Someone comes at me with something, I ask them a question. So when this guy did this, I said, hey, do you think it's okay to talk to my wife like that? Like, are you crazy? That's what I said. I said, are you crazy? You think it's okay for me to talk to my wife like this? And he started to calm down. And I was like, is this your wife here? And she's like, I'm so sorry for him. I'm like, don't be sorry for him. I'm asking him a question. Because sometimes when we speak our mind, it's sometimes I was emotional, I was hot. I was saying last night, I don't think I've ever been that mad. Because if you say something to me, I'm fine. If you say something to anybody, most of the time they're okay. Especially when you're a strong person. But when you say something to someone close to you, that hits something different. And we see it everywhere. There was just a fighter who just knocked out some other fighter's tooth in a restaurant because the guy said something about his kids. But I think we just need to think a little bit bigger and use these as lessons, not as gossip and talk about it. And this is why they did. What if we used all that as lessons for ourselves? Because if we can learn it for us, think about what we can teach to other people. And another example that happened to me yesterday, I was out, we were having some ice cream, or here they call it snow. I forgot the Spanish name for it, but I got taken to go to a place that it's called Snow. And it's just like fruit with like icy. It's like an icy fruit, like a big slushy, but it's like ice cream. It's so good. And this guy comes up to our table And he's just like, yo, give me some money. And we're like, no, 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 it's okay. No, thank you. And we're just talking, me and my partner, we're just talking. And he comes up to me and then he starts to hear me speak in Spanish, because we speak in Spanish a lot of times. And he says, oh, you're American. You have money. And everyone starts to look around the restaurant as he said that to me. And my first thought is just like, man, get out of here. Get out of here. But it's just like a split second to don't say the first thing you think. Like, what if that was the lesson in it, guys? You watching this, what if the lesson is not to say the first thing that comes to your mind? Think about how far that can help you in your life. If you just don't say the first thing that comes to your mind, wait for the second thing and then think about it. It only takes a second like this. Because guys, as soon as he said, you're American and you have money, and he was getting like aggressive, like he put his, like, you're American, you have money. My first thought was like, I said to him, I was just like, do you think all of Americans have money? That de-escalates the situation. Because when you ask someone a question, they have to stop and think about what they just said or what they just did. Letting someone know that, hey, it's not okay to speak to someone like that. It's very different than saying, hey, do you think it's okay to speak to my wife like this? You think that's okay? Because as I say, in emotional times, we can't prepare. As Simon said in the Zoom, and you guys who are in the Zoom waiting room, my bad, I'm missing you. I see you guys. Hold on. Actually, I don't see you anymore. I was on a rant, didn't want to lose it. But ask yourself this, if you can take something away from this, what are my options? You can ask yourself that right now. Some of you guys are going through tough situations emotionally, and it's been an emotionally long month, maybe. What are your options? You're out of money at the end of the month. You don't have your best friend. You don't have the relationship you want. You don't have the friendship, whatever. What are your options right now? Because you have a lot more options than you think. Most of the time, we just don't see it. So I want you to think about the lesson that's there. Like I say, we can talk about Jada and Will and what's going on and go into the details, but that's just gossip. That's very simple thinking talk. So simple thinking. It doesn't matter the details. It matters the lesson. The lesson that we can take from this and put it in our own life. Life becomes a school when you do that. When I travel so much and people are like, wow, you learned a lot. I learned it because I'm taking lessons. I thought life was you had to work all the time. You had to work 20 hours a day if you want to be successful. But I went to other places and I learned that that's not true. I learned a lesson. I was sitting in a rice field in Bali having a coffee, and I looked at a guy working in the rice field in the heat all day. I was working on my computer with the fan. I left and came back to the restaurant in the night for dinner. He was still in the field. The lesson I got from it is this guy's in the field. He's been working for about 16 hours today, at least, because they come up before sunset, and he has no money. They make $3, $4 a day. They make $3 or $4 a day. So does working 20 hours a day guarantee? No, it doesn't. Lessons. And when you do that and you incorporate, why I talk about travel and doing all these things, because when you do that, life becomes a school. It's so funny. I've had a lot of, and I work with a lot of clients. I've worked with a lot of clients over the past year and a half. And and it just happened just like 2 months ago. I've never had a single one ask me what degree I have. Never. Because we go based off of results. We see someone doing something and like, well, Luke knows what he's talking about, but not because of a degree or school. Now, of course, I know NLP and a lot of these things, but lessons from other people. Like, it's lessons. Because as Simon said, as we talked here earlier, is we can't control what's going to happen. If you look at the news, just look at the news, look at the front page of the news. See, you feel your emotions go up and down. What are you going to do in this situation? What, like, if we go based off of our emotions, our day is like this. Our day is like, because there's always something great, something bad. But have you ever realized that you can get good news and it can last a little bit, you feel excited, but if you get some bad news during the day, it can just ruin your day? Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed that? I think when we can start to understand just ourselves, everything that's happening is showing us ourselves. Think about this. Everything you're seeing, everything that happens, Because when you saw what happened with Will Smith, you felt it too. You felt it too. And if you had a little bit of empathy, you probably could have felt it from both sides. If you had if you're really empathetic, you could have felt it from both sides. You could have felt how offensive it was for one people, and you felt how offensive it was on the other side. And then if you really thought, you thought how it could have went, and how it could have went better, and how it could have went worse. And you can play that all the time. But what is the lesson? What's the lesson? This is the most important thing. That's why I jumped on here, not to talk about the details and small details. That's little people talk. Little people talk. And everyone here is more advanced. You want to be here. How can we take the lesson and implement it for ourselves? And how can we help other people? How can that help us in the future when something like that happens to us? Because I guarantee you it's going to happen to you. I guarantee you someone's going to say something horrible to you. And for a lot of people, some of you here, maybe, some of you couldn't even handle that. I can't tell you how many times it takes for people to write me. How many times people write me, send me emails like, I want to start this, but I can't, I don't know what's stopping me from creating content, Luke, from sharing my life, from sharing my journey. I don't know what's stopping me, Luke. And anytime someone says it, it's very easy for me. It's like, well, you don't do it because you really care what other people think about you. And if you create a video or a blog or post pictures and people say, we hate this, take it down, it's going to affect you emotionally. That's the secret that people don't want to share. We're going to talk about that later this week. And maybe every day this week, we're going to go live at this time, same time. I think this is important for people to know. And I'm reading some of the comments here, and I love some of these comments that I'm reading. Think before you react is the lesson. I love that. And can you see when we look at it like that, not like, well, Christian, but Jada had a mental, like that doesn't do nothing for you, nothing. Because you could talk to everyone who was involved in that altercation. They would all have something different to say. And the reason, and I want to clear something up. The reason why I said I don't really believe in right or wrong anymore, number one is probably because of travel. Like I don't want to say I live, but I spent a few weeks in Netherlands. In the Netherlands, you can smoke, no problem. No problem. You can smoke, you can buy marijuana, you can smoke, you can do whatever you want. No problem. But do that in Indonesia, where I lived in Bali. When I was there, there was someone who came in there with that stuff, and they took him to an island, and he stood before 12 people, and those 12 people were part of a firing squad, and they killed him. So right and wrong is what? Right and wrong is subjective. It's subjective to the glasses. I wish I had a pair of glasses, the glasses that you wear. When I tell you something, every single one of you hear it differently. Because you all have different glasses from your culture, from your friends, from how you look, from how you were raised. They're all different glasses. And what happens is so many times as humans, we wear the glasses of our culture. We wear the glasses of where we grew up. We wear the glasses of the people that we hang around. And when we talk to someone, we forget to take off our glasses and see them as human. How about we take our glasses off and just see things as like, well, let's have deeper discussions. But when someone says something, whatever I tell you now, everyone watching this is getting something different. Everyone's getting something different from me right now. Everyone's getting something different because what I'm saying is being filtered through your filter. I'm very neutral. I'm very open. I think that's one of the reasons why I attract so many different people. And I think even if you guys just look at any of the comments or people on here, and if you feel open, I'd love if you guys, first of all, we got to get the likes up, guys. What's going on here? What's going on? What's going on, guys? Let's get the likes up. We got to get the likes up. We got to get the likes up here real quick. Let's get those likes up. I'm putting in some work here. I'm even sweating. I don't even sweat in my, I'm sweating. Goodness. Let's get the likes up. And if you don't mind, everyone here, if you could, like, in the comment section, type the country that you're in. Everyone here, while you guys are here, I hope you guys are still hearing me. My video cut out for a second. I think I'm still on. What country are you all from? Right in the comment section. And as I'm kind of looking through the comment section, right, what country you're from, guys, in the comment section. And as I'm looking through here, as I'm just looking through the comment section, it's very interesting what people are talking about here. I can tell just by looking at people what people are thinking of. There's a lot of people here talking about, I think it was Denzel Washington who said, who's a lovely guy. He said, small minds talk about people. I think he said medium minds or something like that. Average minds talk about events. Great minds talk about ideas. So we look at yesterday, what level are you talking on? Are you talking about people? Are you talking about the event that happened yesterday? Are you talking about ideas, a way of looking at things? Ideas. By the way, Poland, USA, Canada, look, so happy you all are here. So happy you're here. I can't remember why I actually told you guys I had a point that I was going to say. Oh, I was going to say, because of the way that I see the world and the way that I view the world and the way I speak, I attract people from everywhere. I've had people who look exactly like me, who are pro athletes, come up to me, but I've been in a metro in Poland and had businessmen come up to me who look nothing like me. I've been in Ukraine walking around and had someone come up to me in a I forgot the name of the place that I always used to go to. I just saw it too. But I used to go to a coffee shop, people coming to me there. And your way of the world, it shows what you attract to you. What kind of people do you attract? What kind of things are you attracting in your life? It has a lot to do with how you filter the world out. But at the same time, everyone here, I've seen people from Poland, USA in the middle, Compton, Montreal, Canada. There's a lens that people from where you're from have. And if you're not careful in life, what happens is you just put on the same glasses that everyone around you wears. You all who are part of the Charmed Year, that's a paid group coaching that I have. That's monthly for a year. Or you guys who are in Your Skills Academy, we talk about it very small. So that's a free school that I created. We talk about that. I talked about this in the last live session. We talk about your local identity and your international identity. And the example that I love to give is, I wish I had something interesting. So these little speakers here in Mexico, where I'm living, you can buy these on the street for $5. These little things. If I were to go to Sweden or Switzerland, I could sell this thing for like $60, $80, because I'm using a different identity. Here, people don't want to buy stuff for that expensive, but there's places where they do. The clients that I work with that pay me well, they're not from places that don't pay well. But if I were to keep my mentality of, for example, living in Bali, where people make $160 a month, like that limits my mind. You have to understand this. You have to understand this. Like, you have to break out of that identity of realizing, well, who would ever pay me for that? Like, there's people who can, just not people around where you're from. So it's just always like expanding your mind, always thinking bigger. That's why I jumped on here today. I want you guys to think bigger and deeper and understand it's not about people and events. That's small thinking. That's small thinking. But to take something and turn it into an idea of what you see happen, how can I change the way people see things? That's an idea. And having those ideas, that's what changes things. People are drawn to people who just talk about people and gossip. And what does it mean? What does it matter? You could have talked about celebrity gossip for the last 50 years. And what would that mean today? Or you could have read one book that each celebrity talked about or read and recommended. And then where would you be? Thinking small, thinking big, these things matter. The more you open your mind, I promise you, the more the world opens up to you. And I think that one of the things that's most important is that we understand it. Now I'm going to wrap up here. My bad for everyone who tried to join the Zoom room. I had you guys in the background here, but I hope you got something out of today. And I think when you start to look for the lessons in life, life becomes your school. I think when you start to look at lessons in history, when you look at lessons in what's going on in the world right now, I think you start to become more adapt to what is to come, because understand that life, everything is patterns. Everything happens in patterns and sequences. There's ups, there's downs, there's winter, there's summer, there's spring, there's fall. There's always cycles of everything. And I think the more you start to learn the lessons, you start to recognize the patterns. And as you can recognize the pattern of someone saying something to me that's irritating me, what do I normally do here? What are my options here? What do I need to focus on in this moment? I think when you start to shift like this is when life really starts to change, because you start to learn every day. You start to read something new and it makes you change your glasses. It makes you change the lens you have. You do something different. You say something different. You meet someone different. You travel. You meet people from different cultures. You take a lesson from there. You take a lesson from someone else. You watch a YouTube video. You take a lesson from there. You see someone at the store. You take a lesson from there. I take lessons from everywhere. This is me personally. You don't have to die. My way is not the perfect way. It's just, it works for me really well. But all the time, I write them down on my phone. I have just hundreds of things lessons I take in. Like I very simple, and this will be the last example I give, then I'll let you guys go. By the way, can we get the likes up a little bit? Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up a little bit. That's always my sign, get some water. So yesterday was my cheat day. Back to training today. But I was at Domino's Pizza. Had a really big pizza, so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. And I was there and these little girls came walking in with their parents and they were so excited. The parents went to the counter and the girls were so excited, jumping up and down, excited. And then the parents ordered and then sat down. The kids were still jumping down, excited, because they knew what was coming. That was the lesson I got from it. The kids knew what was coming. They knew that just the parents going up there ordering pizza, the kids didn't doubt for 1 second. The kid there, the little, all these little Mexican kids, they didn't doubt for 1 second. They knew that pizza was coming. They didn't know what kind, but they knew pizza was coming. And they were jumping up and down the whole time. And I started to look at them. I was like, wow. At what point does it change for us that we become adults and we just stop getting excited out of fear that we're not going to get what we want? Like at what point? Because the excitement that we need, the excitement that what we need to make something come to us, that feeling, is the excitement that we hold back because we're scared of disappointment. The amount that we hold back because we're scared to be disappointed is the exact energy that we need to break through. And I just thought about that for a second. I wrote it down. And it becomes a lesson. So many of us, so many of you, it can happen to me as well, we're scared to be disappointed. And out of the fear of being disappointed, we just hold back. And when we hold back, we don't go with the full energy that it takes to get what we want. So therefore, by avoiding disappointment, we run right into it. And when you start to look at it, it's like, if I can make disappointment my friend, I think that would be a handy skill. If I could be okay with being disappointed, if I could handle rejection, what would I be able to do? What would I be more capable of doing? If I could handle rejection, I could handle people looking at me weird, I could handle people not liking my content, what would I be able to do? I'm able to be here now personally. If I use myself as an example, I feel like I'm the best example. Like when I make videos of Bali and Poland, people love these videos. When I make videos of other things, then they don't like it so much, but I still like it. But then people don't watch. And some of my close friends like, Luke, I feel bad. Like, I'm like, guys, I love what I do. And I want to keep it fun. And it's always been fun. That's why I stay who I am. I like it to be fun and to have that energy. That's what keeps me doing it. If not, I wouldn't be able to do 6 years on YouTube. Got to keep it fun. Handle rejection of people being like, just make videos on Bali. I'm like, I'm not in Bali. They're like, well, just talk about Bali in video. I'm like, I don't want to. But I'm okay with being rejected. I'm okay with people not liking it. That actually fuels me more now. So I want you to see, you guys can rewire yourself. So many of you guys here, you can all rewire yourself. You can rewire yourself by changing the little things, like what's happening to you. What if it's what's happening for you? Is this the end of a relationship, or is this the beginning of your new life? I promise when you change little simple things like this, if you could change these little things like this, I promise you that changes everything. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm trying to read through you all's comments real quick. Read through some of these comments. You're late to the show. Just wanted to ask you what keeps you motivated. Samson, I answer your question real quick. You do. Samson, you do. And I think I think it's very important to understand motivation is dangerous. Inspiration is where you should be in the world of inspiration. I want you to think about that. If you're motivated, what happens if you need to be motivated to do something? What happens when the motivation is not there? If you need to be motivated, then you've forgotten something. You've forgotten something. Think of inspiration. Think about the word inspiration. I give this to people. You guys in the my free school, Your Skills Academy. It's 11:11, by the way. You guys know about this. Inspiration means, think about the word inspire, inspiration, in spirit, meaning inspiration comes from your spirit. Inspiration comes from your spirit. So when you're operating in your spirit, time changes for you. Life changes. When you're inspired to do something, how quick does it go? You're inspired to go and play or work out or whatever. It goes like this. When you're not inspired to do it, how does the time go? Because time doesn't really change. Your perspective of time changes based on if you're inspired to do it or you're not inspired to do it. So I think at the same time, you got to think of what's the reason you're doing it. And when you can make what you're doing mean something more than just you, you'll be more inspired. But you all are already inspired to do something. But most people, it doesn't matter how inspired you are. Think about this. You could be so inspired to create content. Some of you guys are here right now. You guys are so inspired to create content, to share with the world, to help people out. You're so inspired to do that. You're so inspired to create content to help the world and to make the world a better place. The problem isn't your inspiration. The problem is your fear of rejection. You're so scared of how people are going to judge you for the way you look, for the way you talk, for the way you film your videos, for the way you write your blog posts, that holds you back beyond your inspiration. Your inspiration can't grow. And then what people say to you gets in your mind and you're like, I don't know if I can do it. I'm not going to do it. Because if you actually really think about it, anything that you're good at, there was a time when people didn't think you could do it. Because beliefs matter. And also what people tell you, that the thing is you believe that people tell you, that matters as well. So when it's like, for me, how do I stay inspired? I just think of like, wow, 153,000 people didn't wake up today. Like I do all kinds of things I don't try to get inspired. I try to get more grateful. Honestly, if I had to sum it up for you, I get more grateful. And when I get more grateful, that makes me calm down. And I'm just grateful that I get opportunity to be here. I feel grateful for that opportunity to show up here and have a platform that maybe one person can get something out of it. I have a lot of things to do this morning and I want to go and get a lot of things done. But I was like, I want to help people. That's what I really desire to do. And then I asked myself this question. Well, Luke, if you jump on a live session, will that help you achieve that goal? And it's yes. And then I do it. But I think a lot of people are like, yes, but. And then when that happens, now you've stepped out of inspiration, out of fear. Everyone here, every single person watching this right now, watching the replay, watching this live, you know what you should be doing. We all know the next step, always. We all know the next step. But that doesn't hold people back. What holds people back a lot of times is because they don't know the second step. But if you believe you're always shown the next step, then the second step doesn't matter. As soon as you take the step, the next step will be shown to you. That's how life works. But you have to believe it for it to work. We're going to talk about faith this week. Like I say, we're going to jump on at the same time, probably every day this week. We're going to talk about faith. Some of you like, I can't have faith, Luke, because I don't see any like proof that it's going to happen. That's what faith is. When you have faith, you have the vision. For me, I got to the point of like, I want to help my audience. I want my audience to be able to live the life they want, to get over their fears. I think that a lot of times that I'm just like, what can I do more to make that happen? And my brain will be like, well, do this. And that's what I do. Forget if people watch it, forget, like, I just want to get this out because I know it will help people. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think that when you can wake up and you can think of like what it is that you want to do more than anything else in this world. And honestly, I'm so convinced that people who are here and watch my channel and show up here, you guys really have great hearts. I know it. I know a lot of you watching this, you guys have been through a lot. You've been hurt. You've been screwed over. You've been almost forgotten about by people who shouldn't have forgotten about you. A lot of you watching this have not had the support that you feel like you deserve. As much as you support other people, I feel like you don't get the support you want, but you guys still are here and showing up. And you have to give yourself credit for that. Because so many of you are so hard on yourself. You're so hard on yourself. You're doing the best you can with what you know. And then you're hard on yourself for what you've done. Now that you learned something new, you're hard on yourself for who you were. Understand the past version of you did the best that they could to get you to this spot you're in right now. Don't mess it up. You're here for a reason. You got guided here for a reason. There's a lesson you're getting here right now that you should just go and do. I read your comment, Samson. I get all that, bro. I really do. I just fail in staying inspired the right way constantly to get work on my project. I would love to move over and do my own thing. Well, if you love to move over and do your own thing, then what is the thing that's stopping you from doing it? This is the question. I think one of the questions is like, how? Everyone's always asking how. One of the things I highly recommend, first of all, if you guys are not part of the free school that I created, join it. It's free. You don't have to pay. Everyone gets so irritated when I have a something that's paid for you guys to change your life, but there's a free school, Your Skills Academy. It's linked in the description below. Join it. Look at the comments there. Reach out to people. It's a community there. And when you're ready, join us in group coaching. Join a group of people, not even with me. Join a group of people who are doing what you want to do. So many of you guys are listening to people who have a life you have no desire to be like. Like, I don't want to work in a certain kind of job. So why would I listen to someone like that? I listen to people who are living the life that I want to. Find them, reach out. If you want to be an engineer, reach out to people who are doing it. Reach out to people. Social media is open. Pay someone. So many people are so nervous to reach in their pocket and pay. I don't get it. I used to, I don't anymore. I don't get it. Reach out to someone who's doing what you want to do. I have a thing where I had someone give me a hard time probably a few weeks ago because they really wanted to talk to me. They wanted to schedule a call. And I was like, okay, we can schedule a call. Here's the link. It's going to cost you $222. It's going to be a 40-minute call. And they started to go on. Can you make it cheaper? Can you? And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, some of my mentors, people I look up to, is $3,000 an hour to talk to them. Because what you're going to get out of that is going to be tremendous. It doesn't have to be me. Reach out to a YouTuber or someone who you follow. Reach out, just say, hey, I'll pay you $500 to speak to you for an hour. Depending on how big they are, most of them will say, yeah. Some of them will say no because it's not enough. And just one thing that they say in 5 minutes will change you. I had an opportunity to speak to a lot of my heroes, and I only got 2 minutes with them, 3 minutes with them. But what they told me in that time changed my whole entire life. That's it. And I see what you're saying, Samson. So you want to leave your day job because it takes most of your hours and energy. Well, like you say, the key word in your sentence, what you just said to me, is it takes most of your hours and energy, which means you still have hours and you still have energy. My question is, what are you doing in that time? That's what matters. Does it matter what you're doing in your day job? What are you doing in the hours outside of your day job with that extra energy? Because if we were to break it down, I guarantee maybe you're going out to eat, maybe you're going to party, maybe you're going to a bar, but that's time that you could be using to learn something. You could be learning a new skill. You could be working with somebody. It's all about how bad you want it. That's it. If you're serious about it, Samson, book a call with me. We talk about it. If you're serious, but I realize some people just aren't serious about it. I remember like, I meet so many people I met so many people traveling who are just like, I want to travel full time. And I really want to. I was like, okay, well, I'm here in this country for 2 weeks. Come with me. And like, I can't because, I have to do that. I was like, well, prepare for what you want. Make room for what you want. Just like the little girl at Domino's Pizza. They were making space at their table. They had their fork out and they had their knife out. They didn't see the pizza, but they knew it was coming. And when you know something's coming, when you believe it, meaning you have that faith and you know it's coming, then you act different. You do things different without question when you know it's coming. But most people don't know it's coming and they doubt it. And when you doubt it, that light at the end of the tunnel, it's how you walk that determines what it is. You think it's a train, you walk slow on the side, and it is a train. You think it's a light and you start sprinting for it, head down, running for it. You usually feel like that is the end of the tunnel. It's about how you view it. So many shifts need to happen to realize it. Samson, it's in the link in all my videos in the description. You can book a call. Anybody who wants to, you can. Or not anyone, I don't do everybody. But I think one of the things that's important to understand is that it's little shifts. Everyone thinks it's something big. It's not. Sometimes it's something little. You want a free little small thing was a free little tip I can give you that this could be worth thousands of dollars to the right person. Actually, I got to get people in the Zoom room to let them know that I don't feel like talking anymore. Hold on 1 second. Let me see this. Okay. Here's a little tip that's worth something for you guys, depending on how you use it. Actually, I forgot what I was going to say. Was it? Oh, and you guys who are in the Charmed Year, that's a group coaching. I just uploaded a video all about this. You want to have things better and change things and all this kind of stuff. Here's something you can start to do. Do this today and watch how it changes you. Okay, are you ready? Eliminate. Elimination. Don't add anything else. Eliminate. Figure out. You want more peace? You want more peace? What would you have to eliminate from your life today that would give you more peace? Eliminate it. Not adding. Eliminate. Who do you need to eliminate? What do you need to eliminate? What do you need to do less of? Not more. What do you need to do less of? What do you need to watch less of? Where you need to spend less time at? I think when people want to be happy so much and they try to add more things to be happy, I think if you just take away what makes you unhappy, what are you left with? What are you left with? When you take away what makes you unhappy, what are you left with? So, on a note, it's been a great session. Time for me to start my day. Maybe every day this week around this time, we're going to be doing the same thing. I got a bunch of topics and things I need to share and want to share from my heart. And I think that I love this way of speaking with you guys. And yeah, look forward to speaking with you all soon. Let me see. Just reading through any comments, see if I missed anything. People posting crazy stuff. I will block you guys. Chill out. In a beautiful way, though. So let's see. Don't you think Will Smith was predetermined? I mean, depends on how you look at life. I think at the end of the day, guys, as I said before, it's about taking the lessons from what happened. Because you never know the whole story. You know what you saw, you know what people told you. You don't know if they had a fight before. There's so many things that you don't know about. We can spend an hour here talking about that situation, the details of it. And then I can add one little thing. Oh, before the show, they got into a fight outside. Now that changes everything. So this is the thing. You never see everything. You make all this time talking about people, then you see something new and it changes the way you look at it because you're like, oh, I didn't know that before. Okay. So changing these things is what really changes everything. And yes, I'll speak to you soon, Samson. And Ernest, I'm so glad I got you out your comfort zone. I love that. Because all of you guys feel like, I don't know if it's better in my comfort zone or out of my comfort zone. Where does the most growth happen? That's my question to you. And yes, speak to you soon. All of you guys wanted to book calls. This is kind of the end of the live session, but I'll give a little promotion for people who are new around here. My name's Lukelifecharms from Cleveland, pro athlete for 12 years, retired, post-retired, still thinking about going back. That's another story. But been traveling full-time for about 3 years now. And I love helping people. I love helping change your perspective. And I love coaching people. I work with clients. I like the easiest way to say is a life coach, but I just really get people to get what they want faster. So I thank you for being here and giving me your time. You want to learn more about this? I created a free school, Your Skills Academy. It's linked in the description of this video and just about every other video. If you really want to join and take it seriously, you can join a group coaching. It's for people who couldn't afford to do one-on-one coaching. I create a group coaching where we meet every month. On the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd, we do live just like this, but we're all on screen. We're all talking to each other, depending on what it is. And we meet on the 11th for a Q&A. That's access to me. That's Q&A for everything that you have any questions you guys have. That one is a 12-month commitment. It's $300, or I think it's even less. It's like $280 or something like this a month, 12-month commitment. And that's a group coaching, and you have access to so many resources as well. There's so many training videos on there, master classes. You get access to all that stuff. That's part of it on top of the program. And for those of y'all who want to just get a call in, I don't do more than 1 or 2 calls with someone, but you're able to book it below. It's a 40-minute call. The price is $222. And those are usually, I think the next day that I do those are on Wednesday, I believe. But that's linked below as well. That's kind of it. Anything else? I love being here. I love being here with you guys. I love helping out. I love getting people to do what they really want to do. And I think when you can not control, but you can question your emotions. Let's call it that, not managing, but if you can question them, like, what am I feeling this way? What was really said that bothered me? When you can start to do that, it buys you time to cool off and to understand yourself a little bit more, and you don't overreact. So hope that helps. And hold on 1 second. I gotta block this person. I'll put them in timeout first, like a kid. Timeout. Okay. Okay. All right. Just have to report people in the comments. My bad. Okay. Let's see if I missed anything else. Any other comments? If I missed any of your comments, we're gonna do this. Let's do this. First of all, let's get the likes up a little bit, guys, before we get off of here. Let's get the likes up a little bit. And my pleasure, GB. My pleasure. So let's see. Anything else I have to say? I think that's kind of it, guys. But you got to be able to manage your emotions, guys. I think if you can't, you're always going to struggle. And I think that if you can't manage your emotions, you'll be easily manipulated. Easily. And if you're easily manipulated, just think about, I think if you're easily manipulated, one of the things that is horrible is other people become your masters. Other people become your masters. When you can't control your own emotion, other people become your masters, and you become easily manipulated from anyone and anything. Does that make sense? Samson, when you go there, you click on the link below and you click a date. So I think the next day that I'm doing the calls are Wednesday. You click the date and then everything. You have to answer a few questions and then you're good. But I think when you can't control your emotions, and anyone can, you become a little bit of a mess, because anything can spike you and get you like this. I can call you an idiot and I can control you because I know how you're going to react. And you become easily manipulated by everything and everyone outside of yourself, which is why it's such an important skill to have. So on that note, take the lesson you learned. Find your own lesson, not maybe something I said, maybe nothing that Simon said in the Zoom, the great talk that he gave. Maybe it's something that you found on your own after hearing all this. Take the lesson from it, use it, use the lesson from it, and use that to help yourself and then help other people. So on that note, thank you guys. Love you all. I'll speak to you probably tomorrow. We're gonna do tomorrow. Let's do every day this week around the same time. Talk about something different. Got a lot of things to share with you. And yeah, I love you guys. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself up here. More importantly, up here. And yeah, speak to you guys later. Take care, guys. Thank you again. Work hard, be brave, and don't forget to smile. Ciao. Now I just need an outro music, outro music, and a quote. And I think the quote we'll use is from Denzel, what he told Will Smith. It's the devil, be careful when you're at the top or when you're getting to the top, because that's where the devil comes for you. That's the quote.